We on? So Chris, what an evening of fights that was, really entertaining, especially that main event there. Pownceby unfortunately running out of gas and getting stopped there in the 7th round by Patrick Ferguson.
That's exactly what it was. It was simply, it was a case of the stronger boxer, the more technical boxer, would just run out of gas.
Yeah,
That's basically what it was.
So close.
Hard thing to watch, actually.
Yeah.
When you know what could have happened, and Pownceby was not far off stopping him at one point.
Yeah, catching with some of those big uppercuts. His skill set looked fantastic, didn't it? But like you say, what was your saying for Muhammad Ali there, Chris?
The will beats the skill.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And Pownceby probably could have been a little more conservative with his output in regards to not having to have every punch he thrown trying to take the guy out.
Yeah.
He could have touched him and moved and set a few things up a little more without. Because everything Pownceby threw, he was trying to hurt him. He had bad intentions.
Well, like we said, maybe that is a little bit of lack of experience as well, because he's never been past 4, and he's just so used to blowing customers out the water that it's that's just what he's used to, Just
there's a lot to said, on the way up. Your match fighters are cornering and that, but there is a lot to be said about stepping stones.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can fight a standard of boxer that, and then you take a big jump, and it's just. Pownceby proved tonight that he was ready to be there. It was just those, as you said, with that type of style of fighter who just brings the pressure. Your conditioning's got to be superb, and you can't be. Every punch you throw cannot be thrown with bad intentions. You've got to touch and set. You've got to touch them, some light ones, move off, find a few holes, drop the bomb in, move, and so forth, and work your way through it. But everything Pownceby had, he was trying to put him away. Yeah,
just threw the kitchen sink at him, and it wasn't enough to get him out of there. So you're saying maybe as a stepping stone, maybe someone who's a resilient fighter who would have gone to 10 rounds, but not of that caliber. Someone who he could have maybe had to play around with a bit more and got some longer fights in.
Yeah, well, I mean, hindsight's a perfect science. You can always look back, but it was, the same in regards to Joseph Parker. I personally think he was a few fights away from fighting an anti-Joshua, but the offer was there, the money was there, so they had to roll the dice and have a crack.
That's right.
Sometimes you take those, you've got to take those fights and take the opportunities. A fight like that, you can set yourself and your family up for life. So you take the risk. It's a risk versus reward situation, especially at that level.
That's right, like you say, because the skill set sometimes alone is not enough, is it? You've got to have the whole package. You've got to have the skill set, the experience, the conditioning, the whole package at that top international level. Speaking of which, Chris, so we'd like to have a chat with you about Joseph Parker's recent loss to Dillian Whyte and his loss to Andy Joshua, and just to get your take on how it all unfolded.
Yeah, well, the Joshua fight was always going to be a tough ask for Joseph, because the Anthony that normally turns up, you would have expected to be the Anthony on the front foot, Anthony looking to hurt you and knock you out. Anthony actually this time fought a much more measured fight. You know what I mean? He actually was. He showed patience. He showed patience and various things that he was. Sorry, I'm just getting a hard time from some of the fans here. But Joshua showed patience. He worked behind his jab, and he realised that. Well, I don't have to chase Joseph around the ring here. I can just be patient because I've got the reach advantage. Joe was struggling a little bit and finding ways to enter, and then when he got him there, the referee didn't help the situation in some aspects, but then there are other things that when a boxer is short of reach closes the distance on a fighter, and then you've got such things as angles and you can turn off, and you can look for your next phase other than just go in, shoot your load and then get tied up or stop.
Yep.
So there's just things that Joe, in that fight, the second fight, I have to say, that fight would probably be the most entertaining heavyweight fight this year, actually, for the fans' perspective. Both men got dropped, and had everything that you'd want in it. But from the perspective of us, sort of critiquing the fight, I can see that the losses that happened. Joe is just in a position now where he's, as we talked about before, he's taken steps up the ladder. But the last 6 fights, I think we've seen, starting with Carlos Takam, we've seen that there are holes there. There are things that he's got to add to his arsenal. He's been found wanting a few times there. He's not hurting these men. And a reflection on the Whyte fight, I think Dillian basically spent everything he had in 11 rounds. He had nothing left in the 12. I'm not taking away from that Joe dropped him, but I think he could have just about pushed Dillian over in that round. He was totally exhausted. and he'd done enough to win that fight. I think there are just things there. My personal opinion, I'm seeing with Joe is he's lacking in defensive patterns, and these guys are figuring them out. Like Dillian predicted it. He said, after 4 rounds, I'm gonna walk this kid backwards. I don't have him going backwards all night, and that's exactly what happened. And that tends to be a pattern we've seen of these last 6 opponents that Joe stepped up to. Gets round 3 or 4, he's starting to look back at the corner. He's kind of run out of options, and he finds himself going backwards. And his footwork is linear too. He'll end up going straight back to the ropes.
Yep.
And for a guy his size with the speed, he's been too much time on those ropes.
Yep.
So he's moving, but his footwork that he's moving, it's not been effective, and it's such that it's avoiding his opponent's offense, but while putting him in a position to be able to counter.
Yeah.
And work off it, and even such things as just a basic guard, catch and counter defense.
Yeah.
Knowing what to do. Dylan bullied him. Dylan schooled Joe in aspects of professional boxing.
Yeah.
It was that simple.
Yeah.
Joe showed heart. Once again, he's got that chin, but he showed that he got dropped with a good left hook. The headbutt. It was one of those things. I think the referee was human. Dylan, he threw the punch at the same time as his head came in.
Yeah.
And from where the ref was standing, easily could have been construed as a knockdown, and it was.
Yeah.
I don't believe that would change the scoring of the fight. Possibly in regards to Joe getting shaken by the knockdown. We're hearing that he had some difficulties with it. But then it's a tough business like that. And that's one of the things is you have to recover quick, and you have to get back on the horse.
Yeah.
And you've got to come back and start regrouping it as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Because personally, I think from round 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think Joe lost them.
Yep.
I think Dylan just dominated those rounds. It was interesting scoring actually. Seeing one judge had 130, 112 at the end of the fight. I didn't see that.
Yeah, like you say, you're right with these 12-round fights. It's like a journey, isn't it? You can't just rely on fast hand speed, quick feet or anything to get you out. Like you say, all these elements come into it, working off your guard, professional tricks. It all comes into play, doesn't it, on the longer fights, and
Absolutely.
It's part of being an all-rounded, top-level fighter. But where do you think he should go from now, Chris? What do you think he's...
I don't know. Well, talking about Lucas Brown, I'm not sure. I believe there are other heavyweights around that would make for a better building, if you're going to use a term for another rebuilding fight for Joe. I've got all respect for Lucas and what he's done and achieved. I just think, from a promotional aspect and for a learning aspect from Joe, there are other guys around.
Yeah.
I think Lucas is a few too many levels below Joe to kind of make that competitive.
Yep.
That's my personal opinion.
Did Lucas Brown not just take a fight with
Julian Long? Our man here, Julius Long, is the one that's going to be taking. And Julius has fought him before, and I think he ended up getting stopped in the last round or the 11th, I think.
Oh, okay.
So Julius took him that far.
Yeah.
So there is factors involved. How well Lucas does against Julius is going to dictate.
Yeah.
Is it going to be promotable?
Yeah.
Parker versus Brown.
And with Parker, in terms of his camp and his team, so he's with Juco and Kevin Barry. You'd know quite a lot about that camp. You've been around here a long time, Chris. How are your? I'm not asking you to disrespect people. What's your views of their camp and the way he's being taught, and
I think
what could be changed?
I think Dave Higgins and Duco have done a great job.
Yeah.
Of getting Joe to where they got him, 100%. They got him to where they got him through, being strategic planning, management, having the backing, and they got him, to the WBO title. Yeah. And they got him that fight for what now, in terms on the scene, is one of the. When you start fighting for purses of 10 million and up, you're on the very, very
your management's done well.
Your management's done well,
yeah.
So you've got all credit. In regards to I think we've seen, as I said before, in the last 6 fights, I think Joe has to have more input in regards to the technical aspect and strategic aspect of his boxing. Yeah. We've seen no improvement. Yeah. And we've actually seen him continually make the same patterns, the same mistakes. Yeah. And that's no disrespect to the present captain, but in boxing it happens. It's like when you've got a corporation and you've got a person in a position, say a CEO, and the company and so forth is not performing. Well, if it's not performing, it's affecting potential income and earnings. Personnel change, right? That's exactly right. Yep. Yeah. It's just a business. It's a management thing. It's a team thing. It's a company. Coaches are hired and fired around the world on a daily basis, or on many situations. And Kevin's looked after Joseph to this point and got him to where he is. But I think it's just time. It's obvious that it's time. But Joseph needs more in his arsenal, even if it's Kevin remaining there and bringing someone else in who can assist. Because a lot of teams in that camps will have a second assistant coach.
Yeah.
Joe needs work on the professional boxing aspect of defence, grappling. And I'm going to say grappling, I'm talking about how to shut a man down and kind of maul him and turn him and look after yourself in the pocket. He's lost in these aspects, and at the level he's at, he needs to get equipped with this stuff.
Yeah. Like yourself, Chris, you've been a professional coach for a long time. Do you look at someone like Parker and does it scream out to you, this is what needs to be done, and you can look at distinct changes that could be made and distinct things that you would work with him in the gym?
Yeah,
they're just crying out to me.
Absolutely. I think it's an ego thing. I think it's more it's just passion thing. I think you're passionate about the sport, and I've been lucky enough to work with some of our top talent here. I mean, end of the day, make no mistake that we don't necessarily make the boxers. The boxers make us. At least we, as coaches, work with talent. No one's going to know your name.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah, that's right.
And make no mistake, but we can guide them. And we can help them be the best that they can be. But Joe's got all the talent, the ingredients, without a doubt. It's just, just my opinion. He needs
some very distinct changes.
He needs some input. He needs the footwork drills he's doing, the defensive patterns he needs. I would like to see.
And for you, it's quite obvious. He's obvious. You're mixing up a little bit more variety in your attack.
Yeah, and he is predictable.
Predictable, yeah.
He keeps in his fights, after 3 or 4 rounds, he seems to get a little lost. Even with the Yui Fury fight, he started getting a little bit lost. He ran out of options. That fight, if Yui Fury had been a little bit more aggressive, offensive, I think would have gone the other way. Yeah. I think personally, between you and me, I think John Ruiz won the fight. Yep. I gave John Ruiz that fight with Joe by about a point or two. It was over in the States. Ruiz would have definitely won it. That's my opinion. Yep. That's how close. Even
the Takam fight, there's 2 or 3 fights before the big name ones. In fact, all of it, he did have the rubber to green to get to where he got for sure.
Yeah, he's had things go that way. Yeah. As you said. Even the fight with the Russian. Yeah, I mean, Joe got lucky there because the Russian was on his knees and Joe hit him and stopped him. You cannot win on a foul. So he's had, as you said, the rubber to green. He's had things go his way. Yeah. And being the local boy, I'm glad of that. That's boxing sometimes comes down to millimeters and milliseconds. Yeah. Somewhere in some aspects, and that means all sorts of things. Yeah. And just like that situation there, but I know Joe personally. I remember from the amateurs now. He's a great guy. Yeah. It's just, I guess, going forward, I'm not sure. He's got some tough decisions to make. Yeah. When we're talking about the position he's in and the career and the potential earnings, those decisions just have to be made. Do you still personally have any kind of contact with him, Chris, or any kind of? Not really. I worked with him for his first professional fight. Yeah. A few weeks with him, and then various reasons I decided to send him to the States. So it was. I do have a lot of time for Joe, and I think he's a great kid. And I've watched his career, but once again, I'm because I've been in it so long, I give my honest opinion on things as well. And that's what Joe needs right now is honesty. Yeah. Real honesty, because going forward, the whole, even for Duco in regards to Mr. Higgins, Dave Higgins, their potential earnings. Rests upon it's pro boxing is performance based. Yeah, it's simple as that. Just like in the corporate world, it's performance based. Yeah, and if you're not performing, your market value and your stocks drop.
Of course, right now,
business. Yeah, Joe's market value and stocks have dropped a little bit. He can't command the money he did after the losses that he once had. He can still get well paid. Yeah, pay-per-view here in New Zealand for Joe. That's just the nature of it. It's just going to drop. As simple as that. He's got to get back in the winning circle to get it up. So let's say he comes back to, I don't know what his moves are, if he comes back to New Zealand or whether he goes and trains in the States or looks for high-profile coaches overseas. But if he does come back to New Zealand, there's very few more reputable coaches than yourself, Chris. Is it something potentially could be in the pipeline for you, or would you like that call up as such? Oh, as a coach, it's just like you look for work. Yeah. And I wouldn't. I love the opportunity. Yeah. If it came along, of course I'd look at it. I'd have the opportunity to take it, and you only do it with the confidence to know that you can help a guy. Yeah, well, this is it. I've had fighters that I've had, and I wasn't able to get through to them, and you mutually agree that you might have to go. Someone else might. Crack this nut. I can't do it.
Like you said, he's not chasing it for the dollar bill. You're actually passionately seeing something that you believe that you could change, and I completely hear where you're coming from.
And I think changes are only are only worthwhile if they're productive.
Yeah,
it's got to be productive changes, things that are going to help and progress you where you need to be. I mean, you yourself, you've been in the ring and you're coaching kids and you know what you do. I'm sure. You can see some various aspects of that yourself there. Some of the things we've discussed.
You get very passionate when you see something that you can very easily, or not easily, but you've got the ability to change. And
well, especially when it's been the last 6 fights, it's been a consistent pattern.
Yeah.
The same things. I've actually seen the same mistakes made.
Yeah.
And it's just those things that don't appear, something's not happening there, it's not clicking.
Yeah.
And you can't always blame on the coaches and trainers for not equipping or giving your fighter the proper thing, but something's not clicking there.
Well, less like you say, it's not every fighter's for every coach. It's not just an exact science. It's chemistry, isn't it? How they work together.
Yeah, well, him and Kevin are very close. I mean, Kevin said like an interview that he loves Joe. So but in regards to that, there's still, I don't know, sometimes it's big. You got to think of the big picture time. So Joe will be fiercely loyal, and he'll probably end up staying there. And if that's the case, I hope it works for him, and I hope somehow they find ways to.
Well, I know you're a very behind-the-scenes man, Chris, and I don't think you get probably enough credit for the stuff you do for New Zealand boxing, and probably not put on a pedestal like some people who like to be in the basically in the media a little bit more and stuff like that. But like I say, I'd personally like to see you get considered for a role like that, or a bit more of a high-profile job. Personally,
I've been lucky in the past. I said with Mr. David Tua, actually, asked me to help him for a couple of fights back there. That was a wonderful opportunity and experience. To work with like someone like him that I grew up seeing. That for me, David was New Zealand's best international fighter that we had. In his prime, I still think he's the best we had. Even to date, I still believe that. He had some hardships in his career and things go on that, but and actually working with guys like David, you not only David, other fighters as a coach, you learn off the fighters. They're saying, they're talking in conversations and discussions, you're learning off. And the camps he was in with Lou Duver and the cranies he's had, and you're listening. It's great. It's great. I was privileged opportunity to see a few things, and I worked with David, and he could see that I can add this in here. It's a productive change. And he took some things on board, and we seemed to click and enjoyed working together. So it was one of those opportunities to, I'd put my hand up as a coach to work with all sorts of fighters, all shapes and sizes I do. And I work from grassroots level through to, I've been at that level and had Olympians and that, but it's just, that's what we do, right? It's just
of course, just the love of the sport, So what, in terms of business-wise, what is on the table for you next? I know you do a lot of work with the amateurs, and you've not dropped back with the amateurs, but you've gone back with the amateurs. You seem to like that scene a little bit, but pro-wise, high-profile people-wise, what have you got on the cards coming up?
We've got young Nick, the Greek Nick Charalompoulos. He's going to make a return to the ring shortly, or soon. He's just had some knee surgery. He's getting back. You saw him tonight there, having a hit out. That was a full-on fight by the judges.
He's still looking sharp, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking to try and get him going before the end of the year. And just a few opportunities with the amateurs and that, and maybe 2019, maybe some other opportunities are going to come up. But
But to clarify, you would put your hand up for a help out in the Josie Parker squad.
You put me on the spot.
You would?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely I would.
Yeah.
But, between you and me, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Joe will keep the status quo and stay where he is. But sometimes these men, sometimes it works for them being at home around their kids, around their families. And sometimes it doesn't. But whatever, But absolutely, I have that much respect for Joe, and I love the opportunity to work with him. But that's I think he's got his team set, his camp set, and I believe from what I'm saying, he's sticking with where he's at. How that turns out, I'm not quite sure. But we're going to see. I mean, we wish him all the best, don't we? We want to see him go on, and
for sure.
We're just giving an honest critique on our opinion.
And really, like you say, it's not even about getting him a stick. It's congratulating how far he's done amazing, hasn't it? It's been amazing.
He's achieved great things.
Yeah.
Like I said, that fight with Whyte, from a fan's perspective, it was probably one of the best heavyweight fights you see this year.
Yeah.
It was a great fight.
No.
But at that level he's at now, there's just some of those vulnerabilities are a worry.
Yeah.
And that's just, I'm not sure, you know, it's just one of those things. I mean, I think I can see Joe's taking a lot of responsibility for it, which is good in some respect, you know, that he's honest like that and open.
Yeah.
But I just hope he's not really, you know, feeling that he's got to shoulder all responsibility.
Because as a fighter as well, you look at things like, again, you're a team, you're a business, you're a company. You go, right, what went wrong? So you go, right, first of all, what went wrong? Well, was it me?
Yes.
Initially, people start to point fingers, don't they? The coach says it wasn't me, the fighter says it wasn't me, and they're all pointing fingers.
Well, that's kind of what. Joe put it on himself.
Yeah.
And
he took responsibility and
I
said.
think he kind of did like that, and Kevin put it on him too.
Yeah.
Basically, right.
And they said he didn't want it. He didn't want it enough.
He didn't throw enough double jabs and what have you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So. That's just one of those things. So but you're right. What you got to do is you got to sit down and you got to reflect and you got to have a real honest breakdown of what went wrong and why. What's happened these last 6 fights? What's not clicking here?
Yeah.
And what do I need to do?
Be interesting to see if Kevin Barry's what his views are. I haven't really heard too much about it, but whether he's saying the same sort of things that you are saying and Joe's just not doing them. Or whether it's not that case, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's just one of those things. I guess you got to base things on what we hear in the corners, what we see in the training,
and the short interviews and stuff.
And when we see the training and various things like that, you can sort of base from that. You can get an idea of movement patterns and things that are getting drilled. You know, Joe's got an awesome jab. He's got some great things that Kevin's given him. Some of those aspects that are very, very important. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just performance based. So what they do is it'll be a decision we left with Joe and what he does and where he goes from there. Yeah. But I think he's going to stay on the stage. He'll carry on his journey and he'll end his career with the team that he's got. Yeah. But you know, sometimes it makes you. It's just one of those things. Something's not clicking, right? See what happens. Yeah. Something's not clicking. Yeah. So we'll see. Interesting to see. Well, lovely stuff, Chris. We better get home anyway. It's getting late, but nice chatting to you, and we'll see you next time, mate. Great with GladrapChannel, and probably I'll be back again at some stage, I'm sure, if they'll have me. I hope so, mate. Hope so. All the best. Sounds good. Cheers, Chris.